Hello students, I am Anita, lecturer in Government Polytechnic, Chintamani. Welcome to Learning Management System program for the students of Polytechnic from the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Today, I am taking class for the subject Electrical Power Generation with the subject code 15EE32T for third semester Electrical and Electronics Engineering students. Let's recap what we have studied in the last two sessions. Starting with the session 4, we have studied diesel power plant in the session 4. In the diesel power plant, we came to know what is diesel power plant and what are the points to be considered for the selection of diesel power plant and schematic diagram of diesel power plant in which we came to know various components and functions of the various components. And we have seen the applications of diesel power plant, MCQs on diesel power plant. Next, in the fifth session, we have studied about gas turbine power plant. In the gas turbine power plant, what is gas turbine power plant? Schematic diagram of gas turbine power plant. Similarly, different components used in gas turbine power plant and their functions. Applications of gas turbine power plant. MCQs on gas turbine power plant. My today's topic is merits and demerits of diesel and gas turbine power plant. That is, this is the session 6 and the last session in the unit 2. So, in the session 4 and 5, we have studied about diesel power plant and gas turbine power plant. In this topic, that is in the today's class, we are going to study the merits and demerits of both diesel power plant and gas turbine power plant. The contents of today's topic are merits and demerits of diesel power plant, merits and demerits of gas turbine power plant, and activity. In the activity, I have chosen the crossword. You students, you and me together will solve these crosswords. Next, what are the merits of diesel power plant? We'll see one by one. The design and layout of diesel power plant is very simple. This means to say, so diesel power plant design ಮಾಡುವಾಗ it is very simple. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ when compared to the other power plants, it may be like nuclear, hydro. It takes years together in order to design and come up with the plan. It takes long time. So in the diesel power plant, the design and layout of diesel power plant is very simple. It occupies less space. So it depends upon the land. The land required for this will be very less. So again, if I consider this for the diesel power plant, it occupies less space in diesel power plant. Comparatively, other steam turbine and hydro power plant, it require more space. So as the cost of the land will be more, the space is more. As the space is less, cost of the land will be less. It can be located at any place. This means that we can install near to the load center. If we install near to the load center, we can reduce the transmission losses and transmission cost and transmission losses also. We can reduce. It can be designed for portable use as shown in the image. So we'll get the diesel generator in the small capacities also. I mean to say, for portable use means this can be used in many cases. It can be in hospitals, industries, or like wherever we need an supply in case of supply failures. It can be started quickly and pick up load in short time. So as it's self-explanatory, we can start the diesel generators very quickly and it pick up the load in very short time. It can be stopped as and when required. In the case of diesel generator, stopping is very easier than the starting also. Starting is you can start it very quickly also, but the stopping is still more easier when compared to the starting. So, continuing with the merits of diesel power plant, as these machines can be started and stopped as and when required, there may not be any standby losses in the system. So, as we can start and stop the diesel power plant very quickly, there may not be any standby losses. Cooling is easy and requires smaller quantity of water in this type of power station. So water requirement in diesel power plant is very less. So while considering the installation of diesel power plant, if there is some quantity of water available, that's enough for starting with the diesel power plant. The overall cost is much less than steam power station of the same capacity. It means that when we comparing this diesel power plant with the steam power plant, in the steam power station, we require boilers and coal, and it requires the overall cost of the steam power plant will be more when compared to the diesel power plant. Thermal efficiency. The thermal efficiency of the diesel plant is higher than that of steam power plant. So, what is this thermal efficiency? The thermal efficiency of the diesel power plant is higher means the engine efficiency of thermal engines is the relationship between the total energy contained in the fuel and the amount of energy is used to perform useful work. I'll repeat again. Engine efficiency of thermal engines is the relationship between the energy obtained in the fuel, whatever the energy obtained in the fuel, and the amount of energy used to perform the work. That is higher in case of diesel power plant. It requires less operating staff. Number of people required for the operation in case of diesel power plant is less. What are the demerits of diesel power plant? It has high running cost as the fuel used is costly. As we know that the cost of petrol and diesel nowadays it's increasing like anything. ಇದು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಈ ನಡುವೆ ಎಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಡೀಸೆಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ running cost of these diesel power plants and the running cost is high because of this fuel only. So therefore these diesel power plants will be used only in the emergency conditions and the requirement for the like peak load conditions. Again, in industries and for the emergency condition when there is power failure, we are going to use this diesel power plants. The plant doesn't work satisfactorily under continuous overload conditions. Continuous overload ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ this doesn't work satisfactorily for overload conditions. It causes pollution of the environment. The emissions produced during the operation of the plant affect the environment. So there is in this diesel power plant, it causes pollution of the environment. So we are not going to use much diesel power as the running cost is costly, and also it is and the fuel cost is more, and it is used only during the emergency and peak load conditions. The plant can generate only small power, hence used as standby power plant. Because generate small power, these plants are used for standby. Whatever the power generation in these diesel power plant is less. Cost of lubrication is high. As we have seen in the explanation of the diesel power plant, the lubrication requirement is more in case of this diesel power plant. As the lubrication requirement is more, the cost of the lubrication is high. Maintenance is quite complex and cost high. Both running and maintenance cost will be high in case of diesel. Running cost is more because the cost of the diesel is more, and that maintenance also will be quite complex in case of diesel power plant. Next, merits of gas turbine power plant. It is simple in design compared to steam power station since no boilers are. So steam power plant already boiler ಬೇಕು. Fuel it can be of if it is of nuclear, we need nuclear stage fuel, and in case of it is thermal power plant, we need coal for as a fuel. Comparatively to these steam power stations, it is simple in design because since no boilers are needed. It is smaller in size compared to steam power station of the same capacity. The size of the steam generating power plants will be larger size. That is not the case in case of gas turbine power plant. The initial and operating costs are lower than steam power station of the same capacity. So initial cost ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಆರ್ ಲೋಯರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್. ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಪ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಆಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಕಾಸ್ಟು ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ. It requires less water as no condenser is used. Condenser ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವಾಟರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಮೇಂಟೆನೆನ್ಸ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲೆಸ್. Continuing with the merits of gas turbine power plants, next we'll see gas turbines are simple in construction and operation than steam. Construction ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನಿಂದ ಬೇಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬೈ ಲಾಸಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬೈ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ we can start it quickly and also we can stop that quickly. So if at all this is the case, there are no standby losses. A gas turbine power plant does not have any boiler like component, and hence the accessories associated with the boiler are absent here. So if this is the case, then the gas turbine power plant is very simple in construction and it does not have any larger components. So this is a good method for power generation. What are the demerits of gas turbine power plant? This requires a starting unit to start the compressor initially. ಸೊ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸರ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಪವರ್. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸರ್ ಬೇಕು. ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸರ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಪವರ್ ಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಮೆರಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. A part of the power developed by the turbine is used for driving the compressor. Already held it requires starting units to start the compressor. So, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The starting unit needs extra some power. A part of the power developed by the turbine is used for driving the compressor. Therefore, net output will be low. The overall efficiency is low because the exhaust gas of the turbine contains sufficient heat. So, overall efficiency is low in case of gas turbine power plant because the exhaust gas of the turbine contains sufficient heat. The temperature of the combustion chamber is very high, that is around 3000 degree Fahrenheit. So, istu temperature irodrinda this reduces the life of the power plant. The temperature of the combustion chamber is very high. This reduces the life of the power plant. Life of the gas turbine power plant is comparatively lower than the other plant. When we consider the life of the gas turbine power plant is comparatively lower than the other power plant. So, all India installed capacity in megawatt of the power stations. So, today I am on the last session of the unit 2. So, that is that we are completing the unit 2 that, and also you have completed unit 1 and unit 2. When we have completed both the units, we have seen there are so many power stations we have studied. That is hydropower plant, nuclear power plant, then diesel power plant, gas turbine power plant, etc. So, as on 31st/7/2020, what is the installed capacity of various power stations? We can see here how much power we are generating from various resources. When we compare these statistics, we can see we are generating power by diesel power plant will be low, as we know that the running cost is very high, and running cost and the fuel cost means the fuel cost is very high. The power generated from the diesel will be low, that is only 509 megawatts as on 31st/7/2020. Then about the coal, we are seeing coal, that is nothing but thermal power plant, and then it is around 20 lakhs megawatts. So, coming to the nuclear, so 6780 megawatts, hydro 45,699 megawatts. From the other resources like renewable resources, MNRE, that is renewable energy, 88,041.91 megawatts. This is to give a clear picture how much energy we are generating from the various sources. Next, we'll pass on to the activity, that is crossword puzzle on fuels. So, crossword puzzle on fuels. So, we'll solve together. So, I'll be asking the questions. You think and tell me what will be the answer for the crossword puzzle. This is the first question, that is across. To complete the crossword as shown in the figure below with the help of clues. I'll give the clues, and with simple explanation for that, you can guess what should be the word. The first question is fuels obtained from dead remains of living organisms. Fuels obtained from dead remains of living organisms. Exhaustible natural resources like coal, petroleum, natural gas were formed from the dead remains of living organisms. So, these are called, then what will be the word? Again, I am telling fuels obtained from dead remains of living organisms. The natural resources like coal, petroleum, natural gas were formed from the dead remains of living organisms. So these are called as, what they are called as, just I'll give some more time. Think and tell me. This is nothing but fossil fuels. We'll pass on to the next question. This is also across. Second question. A process by which the various constituents of petroleum are separated. A process by which the various constituents of petroleum are separated. Petroleum refining process or in petroleum refineries to transform crude oil useful products such as liquefied petroleum gas, that is nothing but LPG, gasoline or petrol, kerosene, jet fuel, diesel oil and fuel oils. And we are doing this. What is the process for doing all these things? A process by which various constituents of petroleum are separated. So, I'll give some more time. Think and tell me. So, we will decide what is this word. It is nothing but refining. Refining is a process used in petroleum refineries to transform crude oil into useful products. Useful products may be liquid petroleum gas, gasoline or petrol, kerosene, jet fuel, etc. We'll pass on to the next question. A porous black substance obtained form of a coal. Porous black substance obtained form of coal. A porous black substance means it is a final carbon-rich solid material that derives from oil refining. What is that product? A porous black substance obtained form of coal. Think over it. So the word is, what is that word? A porous black substance will be coke. C-O-K. Across, another thing which is very easy question. Another name for motor fuel. Another name for motor fuel. So already we are doing the crosswords on fuels, that is petrol and diesel, oil refineries. So the other name for the motor fuel will be very easy to guess, that is nothing but petrol. We have done with the across words. Now we will pass on to the down. Down, fifth word. It is a 4-letter word. So what is this? A substance obtained from carbonization. Substance obtained from carbonization. Formed by carbonization of dead vegetation. The substance obtained from carbonization formed by the dead vegetation. What is this word? This will be frequently used, this will be used in thermal power station as a fuel, solid fuel. This is nothing but coal. Coal is the substance obtained from carbonization. Next, down crossword letter, that is nothing but downward, sixth one, a fuel for heavy motor vehicles. In the last we have seen fuel for motor vehicles. Here, a fuel for heavy motor vehicles is nothing but, this is also very easy question. You can easily guess. This is nothing but diesel. Another word for the seventh down word, a petroleum used for road surfacing. The product of the petroleum which is used for road surfacing. What is this word? Guess. Guess. So I'll give some more time. Guess. It is the word which will be used frequently while explaining the petroleum products. Is nothing but bitumen. So the last down word we are going to see is the eighth one. Dead remains of sea animals got converted into. Dead remains of sea animals got converted into. Petroleum was formed by the decomposition of remains of tiny and animals buried under the sea millions of years ago. Dead remains of sea animals got converted in. How this got converted? The word what I'm searching for in the crossword. So what is that word? I will explain once again. Dead remains of sea animals got converted into. Petroleum was formed by the decomposition of remains of tiny plants and animals under the sea millions of years ago. What is this? Petroleum. It's nothing but petroleum. We see the complete questions of this crossword. So across, fuels obtained from dead remains of living organisms. Fuels obtained from dead remains of living organisms is nothing but fossil fuels, a process by which various constituents of petroleum are separated. It is nothing but refining. A porous black substance obtained form of coal. What is it? It is nothing but, what is it? What is it? Coke. Another name of motor fuel. What is the another name of motor fuel? Is nothing but petrol. Down crosswords, fifth one, the substance obtained from carbonization. What is the substance obtained from carbonization? It's nothing but coal. A fuel for heavy motor vehicles. We have seen the fuel for motor fuel. Another name of motor fuel we have seen, that is nothing but petrol. A fuel for heavy motor vehicles. What is it? It is nothing but diesel. A petroleum used for road surfacing. A petroleum is used for road surfacing is bitumen. And the last question, dead remains of sea animals got converted in. The dead remains of sea animals million of years ago under the sea, how it will be converted means it will be converted into petroleum. So this is about the crossword and the answers. Now we'll see the model question bank. I told you I have completed like a diesel power plant, uh, gas turbine power plant, merits and demerits of diesel power plant and gas turbine power plant. This model question bank is for the last 3 sessions what I did. So combined questions of those 3 sessions will be like this. With a neat sketch, explain construction and working of diesel power plant. In this, you have to draw the diagram and we have to specify the important components of the diesel power plant, and we have to briefly explain each and one components, its construction and working. Sometimes they may ask, draw the schematic diagram of diesel power plant and label them. You should thoroughly know the diagram, how to draw and what are the parts. If you do the mind mapping, like what if you know the operation of the diesel power plant correctly, you can easily draw the diagram. You can analyze from ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅಂದರೆ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಒಂದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಡ್ರಾ ದ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಸ್ಕಿಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. One more thing I have to specify in this. While studying the electrical power generation, you will get lot of diagrams in this subject. So all generating stations, diagrams and all. It is very important that you have to practice very well, and you should know what is what. Like if you remember, like this is a diesel power plant means you should know what and all components will come in diesel power plant. Similarly, if it is thermal power plant means how it will work. What are the like what and all we are going to use in the thermal power plant. So that likewise, you should practice the diagrams in power generation, that is electrical power generation subject. List the applications of diesel power plant. We are seeing in this session what are the applications of diesel power plant. There are plenty of applications. Important thing is where we are going to use this diesel power plant. List the merits of diesel power plant. List the applications we have seen. List the merits of diesel power plant. List the demerits of diesel power plant. Again, with a neat sketch, explain construction and working of gas turbine power plant. So, the main thing is two power plants here, diesel power plant and gas turbine power. You should know the construction diagrams and the components used in it and the functions operation of these components. You should know thoroughly. If you understand properly, no need to by heart, you can easily remember the things. List the merits of gas turbine power plant. So here to list out the what and all merits of the gas turbine power plant and list the demerits of gas turbine power plant. This is the model question bank for the last three sessions I have prepared. So these are the possible questions they may ask in the examination. Thank you.